fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Uncharted Media Podcast. This is episode 25, and I feel like, I don't know if there's been any really big news topics that's happened within the past 24 hours, Josh. Am I missing something?
Not really. I mean...
There was that trailer, I guess, that dropped this morning.
Yeah. And it was okay. I mean, it was fine. But, I mean, whatever.
Yeah. But first of all, how are you doing tonight, Josh?
Well, I was great until just about when we were about to start, and that little dog that my roommate had ran into my room and took my piece of pizza that I was going to have for dinner, and now I'm a little sour.
Well, let's feed off that negative energy and try and turn it into a positive. The trailer we were jokingly referring to at the beginning of this episode, the Avengers Endgame trailer, is finally here. First of all, let me put on my tinfoil hat. I don't think Disney planned on releasing this trailer today. I think they did it to hide the fact that no one liked the Aladdin trailer, but we'll get into that later. I think this is Damage Control for Aladdin trailer part 2.
Yeah.
Because now no one's talking about the Aladdin trailer. Everyone's talking about this. And rightly so. I love this trailer. Josh, what did you think?
I enjoy it, yeah. It's still same vibe as the first one, just a little bit more ramped up. And there is some newer, some fresh stuff that we didn't see, so I appreciate that. But it still isn't giving us anything. And honestly, it puts a little bit of a kink in my Scott is a scroll theory.
Yeah, same here. Also, you haven't seen Captain Marvel yet, so that might shoot down a lot of theories you have.
Yeah, that's fine. Speaking of Captain Marvel, way to shoehorn her into the trailer.
Which there's some people that are upset by the trailer that she's wearing makeup and they're like trying to feminize her, I guess, to which I'm just like, it's 20 years. Maybe her style's changed. Also, she's not in battle gear. I think she's allowed to have makeup, but I don't think it's as much of an issue as people are making it out to be.
Well, the fact of the matter is that that's how you're going to debut Captain Marvel in the movie, like in your trailers, like that. That's how, like, whatever.
You want to make an entrance with Captain Marvel? Do what they did with Vision of Thor goes to summon Stormbreaker and she catches it.
Yeah. First of all, can I just say how much I love Stormbreaker?
That's such a great name.
That alone, but also it just looks like a hammer. You know what I mean? Like it looks like something you do not want to get smacked with. Like the other one's like, oh, he's got a big stone mallet. Oh man, this looks like it will tear you in half.
Oh yeah, like not only I like the name Mjolnir, the first hammer, but Stormbreaker's awesome. Stormbreaker sounds like a finishing move. Somebody needs to use that.
Yeah, if only there was like a Nordic style wrestler that you knew that could do something like that. I don't know. Anyway,
I mean, he's already got his names taken, but I initially wasn't a huge fan of the first half of this trailer because I kept wanting more new footage. Please give me some form of new footage. I'm desperate for information, and I kept going flashbacks. But then we got new footage in the second half of the trailer, which, to be honest, when they're all coming out in the white suits at the end, the Quantum Realm suits, which I'll talk about that in a second here, I completely missed that Nebula and Tony were there. Like, I had to go back and rewatch the trailer and notice that they were there. Yeah. I've rewatched this trailer a couple times, and each time I watch it, I like it more. Like, now I actually like the first half of it when it's flashbacks to just previous movies, because there's a lot of information I think you can glean from that.
Oh, yeah.
I remember how we said that we think Iron Man is going to science his way a solution just like he did in the first Iron Man movie to get back to Earth. And this trailer more or less confirms that to me. But one of my favorite things about this trailer is having Peggy Carter's monologue that she says to Cap from Winter Soldier when she's an old lady in this trailer. I love that. I love that scene from Winter Soldier. And so it was nice to hear that come back.
Yep, and I think, too, they've given us our reason for Hawkeye turning Ronin.
Which was watching one of my favorite YouTubers today talk about this trailer, and he proposed that that scene with Hawkeye teaching his daughter archery, maybe that's the opening of the movie, is Hawkeye with his family, and then seeing them dusted, and it's a real gut punch to start the movie.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's you want to start your tone of doom and gloom? Do that. Boom.
Yeah, man. How are you feeling about Hawkeye's hair?
The mohawk? Oh, I love the look. Are you kidding me? Like,
oh yeah, I love it too. There's some people that are like, I'm not a huge fan of it. Best thing I've seen somebody comment today, it's a mohawk eye.
I see. This is, and I have never been quiet about how it doesn't make sense to me why Hawkeye's around. And if he's going to be around, make him look awesome and actually be awesome. But, and people can fight me on that all they want, but like his suits really haven't been all that cool to look at. And now this look as Ronin to me makes me interested.
Yeah. If there's one character more than any other that I'm really curious to see what you bring to the table this time around, it's Hawkeye, because yes, people are upset. I feel like Hawkeye has one of the most personal stakes in this. And I'll be really curious to see the switch go off in Hawkeye's brain. Oh,
absolutely. Especially if it takes his family right in front of him. Like, legitimately right in front of him.
Yeah, I've heard that. The darker theory that I've heard is that it only takes some of his family and the rest of his family dies through results of the snap, but don't get snapped themselves, which is worse, I think.
Yeah, jeez. Like, oh, no. Proposing a little scene here. Say he's practicing with his daughter, and they're like just chilling, right? And his wife and his other daughter are driving up the driveway, and all of a sudden there's the snap, and he sees his daughter practicing archery disappear, and he's like, what? And he looks up and sees his wife disappear, who's driving the car, and it crashes into a tree or something and kills his daughter instantly.
Yeah, I don't want to see that happen, but I think that's a little too dark for Disney to go. I also remembered that his wife was pregnant in Age of Ultron, but then I remembered that it's been a couple of years since Age of Ultron in the timeline, so that baby's popped out by now.
Yeah.
But imagine how bad it would be if she got dusted.
Exactly. Like, to me, and this is, I will stand on my soapbox until somebody kills me, but these stories could be so much more impactful if Marvel/Disney would just go over that line just a little bit.
Yeah, I will. I told Heather after we watched the trailer together, if at least one main character doesn't die in this one, I'm going to feel disappointed. I need there to be stakes.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Like, people legitimately have to die for Infinity War or this movie or really all of the ones before it to mean anything. That's why Civil War felt so deflated at the end, because everybody just kind of went like, all right, cool, we fought, I guess we're okay now. Like, no. Anyway,
yeah,
I will rant for forever. However, there is a positive in this situation, and that is that the Disney Fox deal is set to be done at the end of the week, which you and I are amped about as far as possibilities of a possible end credit scene.
True, which for legal reasons, I'm sure Kevin Feige wants no part of anything Fox related until after that deadline, because I'm sure he doesn't want anything wrong to go wrong with this deal. And if it even looks like he might be tampering with Fox stuff before it's legally allowed to, you could say goodbye to that deal. So I'm sure he's not even planning on doing it. That being said, I'm still sticking to my guns and saying a Silver Surfer tease at the end of Endgame.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't put it past them that they've got plans as far as, hey, you know what would be cool if we did this kind of plans, but nothing like written down or anything like that. It's guaranteed that he's thought about it.
Yeah. Circling back to the trailer, is talked about the white suits. I like how they kind of just almost come out with that information, because I feel like Disney and Marvel has been aware that there's those leaked toy pictures and leaked pictures online of like different of them with the white suits. So they just kind of came out with it. But then again, this still could be early on. Everything we've heard is all the trailers are just showing us stuff in the first 20 to 30 minutes. So I kind of like that they were just like, yeah, there's stuff that's been leaked, but that's what you get. Other than that, the white suits was one of the few things that's been leaked that we like knew was in the movie. Other than that, we know nothing, and I love that. Like, the best leakers, that sounds like a weird statement, but the best movie leak sites can't get stuff on this movie, which I think is awesome. And Disney kind of was just like, okay, I see that you have leaked this. We're just going to have it in the forefront of our trailer as the big money shot, really.
Yeah. And really, to me, this trailer, and I will reiterate this point later in our main discussion, but the main Avengers theme is still, I will rag on Marvel all day, but the main Avengers theme just gets me going every time. And it starts into that crescendo when they're walking out with the white suits, and I was just like, yeah, no, I'm going to see this movie now. There's no way I'm not going to see this movie now.
What I like is the trailers themselves, not even the movie yet, but the trailers themselves have actually already taken us on a journey and already have told a story. Because the first two trailers we've gotten, both the first trailer and the Super Bowl trailer, haven't used the Avengers trailer, because in those trailers that we've seen, the Avengers are all split and disjointed. This is the first trailer that we've seen them all together as a collective unit. Hence, why we can use the Avengers theme, why it's so strong, and it's united, and it's together, and that's why all the music is there, as opposed to other trailers where the music bits and pieces of are there or hinted at, but it's not complete because the team is not complete.
It's very subtle, and I really appreciate it. And yeah, man, I think, and this is weird to hear me say, but Endgame might be the one Marvel movie that I think I'm most excited about.
Yeah, I genuinely think that this movie may be one of the biggest movies of all time. Just in terms of anticipation, in terms of build. If they can pull this off, this will be the biggest movie of all time.
Okay, so real quick side note, because we got a decent amount of news to cover. So would you say then, because as far as build, the first Avengers had a good amount of build behind it, and like this, it had, I guess in some ways it meant more because this is the first time anything like this had been attempted. I don't know though. I still think this is bigger. Avengers will go down like in the history books of like, this was really important, but that had 5 movies of build up. This has 21 movies of build up. True. Also, what was at stake in Avengers? Essentially New York. And Avengers had to take down a moderately sized army that 6 of them could deal with. We lost billions of people just on Earth. That's not showing other galaxies. Yeah. Okay, that's fair enough. I got you.
Also, one more thing before we move on to other news topics. Did you notice that when they're all coming out in the white suits at the end, 2 people aren't there with them? Thor and Captain Marvel. So I'm kind of thinking that they're going off to do their own separate mission, like how Thor and Rocket Raccoon teamed up to get Stormbreaker. I would not be surprised if Thor and Captain Marvel have their own side mission that they're dealing with. Maybe Thor dies, and this is how you pass the torch to Captain Marvel, with them being together for most of the movie.
I can see that. I mean, I would have liked a stronger outing from Captain Marvel.
Same.
But I mean,
admittedly,
I'm not in charge of the story.
In Captain Marvel's defense, Doctor Strange was the same way. He didn't necessarily have the strongest first outing, and I liked but didn't love Doctor Strange until Infinity War. That was, to me, his big coming out party.
Fair enough.
Well, that's not it for Disney news or trailers, as we have a other trailer, but not nearly as good. That being said, it's better. It's getting there, I guess. Josh, which trailer am I talking about?
See, I don't know what you're talking about because I enjoyed the crap out of this new Aladdin trailer. Like, to me, it kind of eased some of my concerns because it was one of those, like, okay, are they going to go full Jungle Book and just not do the songs? But no, they're definitely doing the songs. That brought some ease to my mind.
I don't know. It's the best trailer that they've done so far, but that's not saying much.
Fair enough.
I still have a lot of concerns. Are you telling me that you're not at all concerned about Jafar?
Stop. Okay, look, just yeah. I mean,
Or Will Smith's Genie?
I was a little bit. Genie wasn't as bad in this one though.
It wasn't as bad, but I'm still not sold. It's just Will Smith. Also, this trailer, I get that you want to recreate shots from the original. This one seemed like there was copying too many shots, like the shot of Genie with the big hand being a puppet to Aladdin, or when he holds up the mirror and shows Aladdin as a prince and he's got like the measurement tape around his neck.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, this movie's going to come out and we're going to have to look at it and whatever.
I'm still not sold. This Agrabah looks too clean and too colorful, which is like there's not necessarily a grimy feel to the original, but dirty, worn, lived in feel to Agrabah. Yeah. That there's definitely a difference between the palace and the regular city. And this, it feels too much like a Bollywood play, essentially.
Yeah, that's fair. And this one does feel very polished and very clean.
Very polished. Which I think, to me, in all the trailers, but especially this one, the standout character has definitely been Jasmine.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And that's primarily because it's Naomi Scott, who's just awesome.
She's really, and like people can sit here and argue about race and whatever, but she's got the attitude of Jasmine down pat. And that's what made Jasmine who she is.
Yeah, I suppose. I still am a little bit worried about the CGI. The trailer definitely didn't help ease my nerves on that one, especially considering, as we know, the big final fight scene is Aladdin versus a giant cobra, and we didn't get any of that in the trailer, so I'm very worried about how the CGI is going to look for that. Plus, me and snakes don't really get along.
Yeah, fair enough.
But somebody suggested, and this could change the whole movie for me because I'm that simple-minded, but if Genie does not make a Fresh Prince-related joke.
Yeah, that could be a game changer.
That could, like, it could have the worst CGI, worst acting, but that one joke could make it worth it. Be like, you could be the Fresh Prince of Agrabah.
Yeah.
Fresh Prince Alibaba.
Yeah, that works. I'm down. Yeah, exactly. There's all these kinds of jokes you can make. Like, why not?
And people will be like, that's shoehorning a joke in. Oh, I'm sorry, since Robin Williams didn't make any Rodney Dangerfield jokes in the original.
No, exactly.
Like, you can have really, like, fourth wall breaking jokes. That's what the Genie's there for.
Exactly.
Well, if you were more inclined to watch the original Aladdin, you can on Disney Plus, because Disney Plus apparently is getting every Disney movie when it launches.
Every Disney movie?
Well, that's what I kind of wanted to talk to you about. Do you think Disney means every Disney movie?
I kind of hope they do, because then we could have conversations of like, wait, they made that? Or, you know, like, do they really get to say every Disney movie and then sit there and pick and choose?
I don't think they're going to have every Disney movie. I think they're going to have every Disney movie that they want there. They're not going to have Song of the South with Uncle Remus.
What?
They're
Why
not going to have the Donald Duck Nazi war propaganda cartoons.
What? Why not?
The thing that I'm also curious about is, will we have like, when they say all the movies, does that mean like Disney Channel original movies? Does that mean Muppets? Original
That
animation
is
stuff?
true.
And if so, do we get the shows for that? Like, are we going to have all of the classic Muppet Show, all the classic Disney Channel shows, anything Disney XD? If I want to watch me some Dave the Barbarian, is that going to be there?
Yeah, they really need. If they're gonna, it's kind of hilarious how much Disney puts out. If you think about it, because like, dang, daggum, man.
Yeah, so whether they're going to introduce it in phases or not, I'll be curious about. I highly doubt it's going to all be there by launch, but I don't know, man.
I don't know, dude. They used to have a big old vault site.
They're not going to have the Disney Vault anymore. Everything's going to be on the app.
Exactly. So, I mean, they've probably, I wouldn't put them past it, that they've probably been slowly building this and just been able to like, all right, cool. So let's just copy paste all this data into this system, and there we go.
Which honestly, they've said that the price range will be like between $8 and $10. Which, if that's the case, that could be one of the best values you can get because of how much Disney has without us realizing it. Like I said, Muppets movies, anything Disney Channel originals, either movies or TV, anything animated, Pixar, live action. There was so many of those live action ones like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Treasure Island, Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Yeah.
All those old ones are there. Anything Marvel, Star Wars. So much stuff.
Well, and that's the other question is, I mean, I know Pixar is technically a Disney company
Now.
but now it is. So that's the point then. Like, are they going to have only Pixar stuff after Pixar obtained them, or are they going to have all Pixar?
No, I think when they bought Pixar, they bought like all the intellectual property that comes with it. So Tin Toy and everything like that.
Man, if they can just, but like legitimately, if it's only $8 to $10 and they literally have everything that Disney owns in this, like on this app.
We haven't even talked about the Fox acquisition.
I mean, I'm
add the entire Fox movie library to that, or TV library.
Oh, that's right.
That just doubles your library right there.
Holy crap! This could be easily one of the biggest movie libraries ever.
This could rival Netflix, and it's immediately better in quality.
Immediately, right off the bat.
I think even us are kind of underestimating how big a deal this Disney app could be. Everyone's just like, oh yeah, all our Disney movies in one place. That sounds great. No, all your Disney movies and then some. That's on top of The Mandalorian. That's on top of the Marvel standalone stuff. That's on top of, fingers crossed, the Obi-Wan TV show. But then that's also leading us into our next topic, a whole new Marvel animated series about the What If comics. So what the What If comics was essentially these different storylines that were like one-offs of what happened if this in comic book history. Like, what if Uncle Ben didn't die? Or what if Ghost Rider wasn't Johnny Cage type of Johnny Cage?
Yep, no,
Johnny
that's right.
Blaze mixed with Nicolas Cage. That's what we get. Honestly, I'm so down for that. I have quite a few of the What If comics because I have a lot of comics in general. I like this concept. It introduces interesting worlds. It's almost like Elseworlds stories, if you will.
It's not almost. It's exactly like Elseworld stories.
Yeah, but Marvel can't call them Elseworld stories.
Exactly, but I'm pretty okay with that though, because like that means you can get stuff like Game World and Old Man Logan and stuff like that.
Yeah, what I would like to see is, because it's animated, did I ever show you in college the Batman animated movie Gotham Knight?
Yes.
I would like something like that. Of each episode is a different art style and very different tonal style.
Oh, absolutely, because not all of these, you can't do the same thing for all of them.
Yeah, like you having your Old Man Logan one that you just talked about, but having a very different art style and cartoon style and overall tone than like a happy-go-lucky Punisher. I don't know.
Or Howard the Duck. Anyway.
You watch. They will say Howard the Duck animated series coming soon.
Hey, man, don't you talk bad about the strongest character ever.
Squirrel Girl?
No. Howard the Duck.
But I'm down for this what if. I liked reading those comics because I knew at the end of the day, it's like the Injustice games. It's a nice different take on something, but at the end of the day, you can still fall back on the normal stuff. The story always ends at the end of that issue. It wasn't like a continuing story arc. It wasn't like a 5-parter of what if Spider-Man 2099 existed in the 1600s type of thing, and it goes on for way too long. So I'm down for this.
I just had a thought though.
Uh-oh.
And this is such a Disney Marvel thing to do, is to make it a show based on the What If comics. Would you have a central character that's like teleporting and like through dimensions and stuff?
There is beyond. It's not the Beyonder. It's the big bald guy with the high cowl that we saw him in Doctor Strange in the Stan Lee cameo. The Watcher.
Oh, the Watchers. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Well, actually, that could work. It might
like Tales from the Crypt, except your host is the Watcher.
Yeah, I mean, you could do it like that. Because if you have be the Watcher going from place to place or story to story, like physically, that can totally come off way too much like a Doctor Who or a Quantum Leap kind of thing. Except,
I think what will differentiate it is each episode will be a standalone, a la Twilight Zone type thing.
Yeah, which is I'm definitely more okay with.
Oh yeah, same. Well, switching gears from Disney, we have our first official image from Jumanji 2, which admittedly, when I first saw this picture, I didn't even realize it was from Jumanji 2, and I just thought it was a production still from the first one. Because everyone's in the exact same attires, and I thought to myself, oh, that's because they're video game characters. Of course they're going to look exactly the same.
Exactly. Like, I mean, because before we started this, we went in a quick run through everything, I always do anyway. And I was like, wait, there was a Jumanji 2 picture? I mean, I remember seeing a picture from Jumanji, but like, no, that's it. I was like, oh, all right, cool, I guess.
So at first I thought nothing of it. You saw the first Jumanji, right?
Yep.
So at first I thought nothing of this picture. I was just like, cool, we're getting another Jumanji. But then I had an idea, and that's always a very dangerous thing.
Yep.
Because then the creative juices flow. So what happens if we get the original cast back, not like The Rock, Kevin Hart, Karen Gillan, Jack Black, those type of characters, but like the teenagers that played them, right?
Yeah.
Except this time when they play as different characters. So this time you have the cheerleader played by The Rock, you have the jock played by Black, so on and so forth.
Okay.
Like, really mix it up this time. Same game, different characters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can see that working. However, I have seen the cast list a little bit, and they're adding quite a few like pretty solid actors to this one.
That's never a bad idea.
No, absolutely not. Like, let's go, dude. And Jumanji to me was a sleeper hit because like I was on that bandwagon of come on, just let the Jumanji die, like leave it alone. But it was different enough and gave enough nods to the first, like very, very respectful nods to the first one that and the story was engaging enough that I was actually really enjoyed the first Jumanji.
Yeah, that was a sleeper hit for a lot of people, and it very, very quietly killed at the box office. Did you know it almost made $1 billion?
Oh, I wouldn't be even surprised.
I don't even think the studio was anticipating it doing that well, or the people involved were anticipating it doing that well. But yeah, that was more or less a sleeper hit of that year. And so not a surprise at all that they made a second one. I would just like everyone to come back, but like this soul swapping scene in the first Scooby-Doo, which is a weird enough analogy, but like they inhabit different bodies as the game progresses.
Yeah, I can see that. It could be interesting.
Because, oh my goodness, the comedic gold that could be a teenage girl being played by The Rock.
Yeah, I mean, I still really like the teenager playing Jack Black.
Oh, yeah, but what if Jack Black this time was the jock instead, and like uber confident Jack Black talking down to The Rock?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
But I loved that picture, but I think to me the best news that made my inner 10-year-old happy, and honestly, I'm not going to lie, this is probably my favorite trailer of the week, even more so than Endgame, definitely better than Aladdin. Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. My inner 10-year-old rejoiced in the streets. I love this so much.
Well, so what's really interesting is, I think it was, I want to say 3 years ago, they released that Elseworld story of Batman teaming up with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And at first everyone scoffed at it, and then everyone started reading it, and it was actually really awesome. And it really, like, one of the most dark but incredibly entertaining Batman books in a long time. So, like, I'm not surprised that this is getting its own movie.
Oh, no, me neither. That being said,
it's so good.
How great was this trailer, though?
Oh, man. Well, everything felt natural, too, was the thing, too. It didn't, nothing in this story feels like, oh, man, like they're really forcing these characters together. It doesn't feel like they mesh. No. Everyone feels like they mesh together.
It seemed like basically just kids that grew up as fans of both Ninja Turtles and Batman were like, we're going to make the movie we want to make. And there's so much in this trailer that I never knew that I wanted. But now that they've set it up, I was like, how did I never think of that before? Like Batman versus the Shredder. That sounds fantastic. The Ninja Turtles fighting Batman. And he, of course, handily beats them. But the thing that made me pop the most in the trailer is when Ra's al Ghul and Shredder go to the Joker and they give him the TCRI canister. I'm just like, oh, he's going to give the ooze to all of Gotham's criminals, and that's a perfect combination that I wish I thought of a long time ago.
Oh, dude, yeah, because I was just sitting there like, what would that even look like? Oh, man, what would Bane look like?
Yeah,
oh, man,
instead of Venom, it's ooze.
Oh, man, it's just like the possibilities were just opened up.
But yeah, like you said, it never once felt forced. It embraced exactly what it is, Batman versus Ninja Turtles, but it embraces it with such gusto that you kind of are just like, yeah, I buy this. The animation matches perfectly from that original comic, but it feels like, yeah, why haven't we done this before? The chemistry that Batman has with the Turtles of like his distrust, but their energy, it works. And there's matchups that I'm just like, oh, I'm ready for that Batman Shredder fight. I live for that, man. That just sounds great.
Oh, yeah. And it's one of those things, too, with how influential Ra's al Ghul is. That's one of those, like, well, why haven't you teamed up with Shredder before? Like, why is that not a thing?
Please just tell me that we get at least one scene with Alfred and Master Splinter.
Oh, dude. And they're like, no. And they're in the Batcave, like, drinking tea or whatever. And Alfred's like, oh, man, they're at it again. And Splinter's just like, yeah, man, this is an everyday thing. Hey, this is great tea, by the way.
Master Splinter could say something along the lines of, doesn't it? It's so annoying having a kid with anger management problems. I'm sure you wouldn't know what that's like.
Yes. And Alfred's just like, all too well.
Just the possibilities are endless, and I'm really, really excited for this one. And like I said, my inner 10-year-old, this is like made for young Nate, and I'm so ready to see this. But the visuals are spectacular.
Yeah.
There's a couple shots in the trailer. I'm just like, that looks beautiful. That's a great shot right there.
Yeah, however, I would guarantee that this story is going to be super fun, but it's going to get super dark real quick.
Yeah. And I'm totally fine with that. Have a nice balance, because turtles can get dark too.
Oh, dude, the comic that they're based off of is it's fantastic, and it's not kid friendly at all.
Oh yeah. And everybody's got their own personal preference, but for you, what is your favorite incarnation of the turtles?
My personal favorite, or the one that I have the most attachment to?
Either one.
Okay. I don't know what the technical name for them was, but it came out when I was a high schooler, and it was just the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I'd have to show you a picture, and I know.
I think I know what you're going with. The one, not the one that's on not the one that's on Nickelodeon right now, the crappy one. The one before that.
I think before even that one, because that one had the one before the current one we have, because they just released another one.
Yes.
Yeah, so not the current one, not the one before that had the claymation, even though
okay.
It's the one before that.
Almost 3D animated?
Yeah, it's the one before that one. The one that they used to say it was again, I'm going to have to send you a picture and you'll know exactly which one I'm talking about.
Yeah, mine was the early 2000s one. That was a blend of the 80s cartoon and the 90s movie.
Yeah, with a current a modern art style.
Yes.
And and they had a follow-up season after the main story arcs of them going to the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's the one. Yeah, yes. That is my favorite.
Hashtag
and I remember those were my turtles. To me they nailed all of the characters in that series.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'm really excited to bring our next news story. That is not really a news story, but a good report that we're getting coming out is that Shazam is getting extremely positive reviews. The the social media embargo. Those are two different things. The social media embargo of it was lifted earlier this week, and has been overwhelmingly positive. I don't think I've seen a single bad thing said about Shazam. But also keep in mind, the movie doesn't come out until April 6th, April 5th or April 6th. So this review embargo, social media embargo, is coming out weeks before the release, which is always an incredibly positive sign. People are saying it's the best DC movie so far. It's got a lot of heart, great action scenes, great humor. Zachary Levi was born to play Shazam. Josh, does this make you any more excited for this movie?
I mean, I was already super hyped for it, so.
Well, yeah. But does it give you hope? Ironically.
Yeah, I think that, if you put it that way, yeah. I think this gives me more hope and more assurance that this is going to be a good movie and that we are in the current rise again of DC.
It's like a phoenix or the fire. The fire rises. I still go back every time to that Lois Lane monologue at the end of Justice League where she's like, our darkness was dark and long, but we came out of it. We just need a little hope and inspiration, and we will rise again. To which I'm just going, are you talking about Metropolis or the DCEU?
Yeah.
Which I always mean to interpret it as the DC movies themselves. But thankfully, Fandango had some advanced ticket sales, and I think you might still be able to get them if they're not all sold out for some showings on the 23rd. So Heather and I snatched up our tickets real quick, so we will be seeing it next Saturday, actually.
Nice, man. I would pick them up, but I will be kind of busy that day.
Woohoo!
So, yeah, man.
So, I'll let you know. I'll give you a spoiler-free review. I'll put a main review on the channel at some point for it before it comes after we see it. I'm so hyped. And fingers fingers crossed, Henry Cavill cameos as Superman. Please let that happen.
Yeah. Either that or they just confirm whether or not Rock is going to be Black Adam.
Yeah, something along those lines. Some form of a great end cameo there. Now, in our last bit of news for the day, we have news about the Suicide Squad, quote unquote, or Suicide Squad 2, depending on how you want to refer to it, that James Gunn is getting super obscure with his roster. So we know that Harley Quinn, more or less, will probably be returning, played by Margot Robbie. She is the only actor coming back from what we've heard. Joel Kinnaman out as Rick Flag, Will Smith being replaced by Idris Elba as Deadshot. Now, who's going to be playing the rest of the cast? Now, Josh, before I tell you who is going to be in this new roster, who would you put in your Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
To kind of let's put some gap between this.
Absolutely, because I want everybody to know that I saw this and went, wait, did they announce the roster? And you went, yeah.
Not officially.
I was like, yeah, not officially, but I was like, oh, so who's in it? And you're like, I'm not going to tell you. I was like, oh, we're going to have to do this live. Oh, man. So
you might guess one. And that's about it.
Geez, I'd have to go back and listen to the episode of us just naming off people.
In your ideal Suicide Squad, who would you have?
Killer Frost, Captain Boomerang, Deadshot, maybe Harley Quinn, sure, why not? KG Beast.
Are you just basing this off of Assault on Arkham?
No, those just happen to be the ones that come to mind. Although I really like that team in particular.
Oh, same.
But then again, also, like, I'm trying not to be too obscure because at the same time, I don't really know a lot of the really obscure ones.
Well, apparently James Gunn does.
Well, duh, it's James Gunn.
He has not said if Captain Boomerang will be returning or not. I really hope he does, because this is the only time you'll hear me say it. I love Jai Courtney in this. Oh, and I really hope he does fantastic. Come back. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if he adds Killer Frost, but Killer Frost is not one of the names that was tossed out.
Okay, fair. Although Killer Frost would be a really good addition. You need an actual female to play with an attitude to play off of Margot.
Oh yeah. So, any other ones that you think you would want on your roster?
Jeez. None that are really coming to mind.
So, ones that we have, or he says he wants, are King Shark. We know that one. We're familiar with that name.
I'd be down with that.
Rat Catcher.
Okay, sure.
Polka Dot Man. Woot Woot.
Yeah, okay.
And Peacemaker.
Yeah, okay.
I told you. Like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, though. When he said Peacemaker, I kind of popped and got excited. Because I'm that much of a diehard nerd and comic book fan. Like I said earlier in this episode, I have a crap ton of comics that I got from my awesome uncle. One of them is Peacemaker issue 1, like the very first issue of Peacemaker, and I never knew who this dude was. So when they said Peacemaker, I was like, hey, I understood that reference. I have Peacemaker.
Isn't he just like Guardian?
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, okay.
He's got like a big bowl on his head, like very much like a, not Flash Gordon, who's one of those other old school sci-fi heroes.
Yeah, okay, but I know who you mean. Flash Gordon's the only one I can think of, honestly.
It's not Duck Dodgers. That's Buck Rogers.
That is something different entirely.
He's like Buck Rogers. But apparently James Gunn wants Batista for Peacemaker.
I can see that. I think the one on that list that makes me the most excited would be King Shark.
I'm most excited for Polka Dot Man by far.
Oh, get out of here.
I'm not joking. I love Polka Dot Man.
No. Do not play like you know who Polka Dot Man is.
I do, actually.
Ugh.
He's a Batman villain. He first appeared in the animated series.
That's why you know who he is.
Of course I do. But also, this dude has magical polka dots that can do different things. One of them is a buzzsaw. One of them is a teleportation circle.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Just because they're polka dots doesn't mean he can't be awesome. And yes, I'm defending Polka Dot Man as a good choice.
I saw you say Polka Dot Man, and I think of a character from the futuristic Justice League that literally all he can do is change the colors of things.
That's Zebra Man, isn't it?
I don't remember. I think his name was like Ultraviolet or something like that. It was super dumb.
Wow.
Yeah.
They also said that the Ratcatcher will be gender bent, so it'll be a woman this time. To which I just go, "Who's Ratcatcher?"
Yeah.
But I think this roster really, really works because it's James Gunn. If it was somebody other than James Gunn, I don't know if I'd have this much faith in this roster. But what most excites me about this roster is any of these people can die because it's Suicide Squad.
Yes.
There's certain characters in the first Suicide Squad that you're like, well, they're not dying. They could be used in other movies. You could kill off King Shark, Polka Dot Man, Ratcatcher. No one knows these names. So you could kill them off because that's essentially what Suicide should be. You should always be worried that one of these characters is going to die at any given moment.
Yeah, that's fair. However, I'm going to disagree on the King Shark one because that's a primary Flash villain.
We'll see. First of all, we have to have a Flash movie.
First of all, I need you to be nice. Oh, man.
Did you realize Marvel's going to have a time travel movie before DC ever does?
It's because DC is smart. Anyway, I didn't say that out loud. I didn't say that out loud. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, man, I'm down for this Suicide Squad, this roster. James Gunn, I have faith in you, and it's going to be weird. It's going to be out there. It's going to be a James Gunn movie, and I'm all for it. Well, with the Avengers trailer, I figured, let's talk something Marvel. Now, this topic, Heather and I have done our own separate video about it, so you probably know my top 5, but I thought we'd reiterate it here. So today, Josh and I are going to do our top 5 favorite Marvel movies. And yes, Josh does like 5 Marvel movies. MCU movies, more specifically.
Yeah. Which is hilarious because you like... So when you asked me earlier when I was getting home, have you seen the discussion topic today? I had, but it was still what it was before you changed it.
Yeah, so I was originally, our discussion for today, because there was no news, the Avengers trailer hadn't dropped yet. Originally, our discussion was going to be animated features that we would want to see remade in lieu of the new Aladdin trailer. Which we'll come back to that bridge eventually, but we're just like, I want to do something Marvel related. So yeah, this is going to be interesting for Josh.
Yeah, I don't think it's a secret that I'm not a big fan of Marvel movies. But if you wanna, we can work from the bottoms of our list and work our way up.
Yeah, you can start with your number 5, and then we'll kind of alternate. So, what's your number 5?
Yeah. So my number 5 is Iron Man 1. Part of that's because it started the whole thing, but also because I just enjoy watching the first one a lot. The music's fantastic. It's Tony before he turns into a super douche. Yeah, dude, I enjoyed the first one a lot. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think Iron Man 1 is probably my favorite Phase 1 movie besides Avengers. Like Avengers, I never count the Avengers movies as movies within phases. I think of them like as the tent poles of their phases. Like they're kind of separate from their phase movies.
Yeah. I'd agree.
But yeah, I think Iron Man 1 is my favorite of Phase 1.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's probably the simplest out of all of them, but that's also because it's the start of the whole thing. And honestly, before that one, no one really cared about Iron Man. It was just kind of a thing. And if you argue with me, you're wrong because he's just Iron Man. Like nobody really cared about Iron Man in the comics.
Oh, I completely agree. I've had that argument with several people over the years of just like, did you care about Iron Man before 2008? Yeah, I've always liked Iron Man. Oh, really? Now, the only person that I actually believe when they say that is my dad, because he actually did grow up reading comics. His favorite superhero is Iron Fist, and that was before Netflix ruined him. So my dad actually knows his stuff. But yeah, before 2008, tell anybody who Iron Man is, and they'll be like, who? Spider-Man's a recognizable name. Even Fantastic Four was more well-known than Iron Man. Iron Man made him a household name. Robert Downey Jr. got his redemption through Iron Man and Tropic Thunder coming out in the same calendar year, which is two completely different roles, but I love them both. Yeah. I thoroughly enjoy Iron Man. I think Iron Man may be the last time, except for maybe Avengers, that I liked Tony Stark as a character.
Yeah, I agree, and that's kind of like my little subtext there is it's my favorite. I love Tony Stark in this movie. It's the only one where I actually feel like he actually learned something.
Yes, it's the only one where he takes responsibility for what he's done. All the rest of them, he doesn't acknowledge that he's the problem.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, so what's your number 5?
My number 5 is Infinity War, just barely beating out another Avengers movie. It was either Infinity War or Civil War, and we've talked before about how Civil War doesn't really have stakes. It's more or less like a sparring session, so much so that they even joke about it being a sparring session within the movie itself. There's a lot of great things to like about Civil War, like the introduction of Spider-Man, which I can admit when I'm wrong sometimes. And I thought Spider-Man was going to fail from that first trailer because I did not like his first appearance in that trailer. But seeing it in action, I really, really enjoyed it. And I loved Homecoming, but I'll get to that later. But yeah, Infinity War I like more than Civil War by far. It's one of the more rewatchable ones in the Marvel Universe. I like how there's so much going on, but it seems very well balanced. All things considering, there's still some people that I feel like get the short end of the stick in terms of character work, like Captain America, Black Widow, but I'm going to reserve judgment until we see Endgame because I choose to believe Infinity War and Endgame are more or less two parts of the same movie. And so if a character doesn't get enough screen time in one movie, it's probably because they're more relevant in the second half. So I really like Infinity War. Considering how loaded of its cast it is, they do a good job of balancing it out. Thanos is a fantastic villain, something Marvel has desperately been missing up until recently, with Killmonger being awesome and Thanos being awesome. And another one that I'll get to later with Homecoming, when I talk about that. I love Thanos as a villain, like the action scenes. Music's great. It just felt epic more than anything else. I really enjoy Infinity War.
That's fair. I think for me, and this is just Josh being Josh, because of all of the movie announcements of what's coming down the line, it took me out a little bit because then I was like, okay, you're disappearing, but you have a movie coming out later this year, so you're not going anywhere. You know what I mean? So, but that's just me unable to separate reality from the movies.
That's fair enough. What do you got for your number 4?
My number 4 is Ant-Man. I enjoy Ant-Man way too much.
Really?
Like, I think Scott Lang is just so entertaining.
Is that because it's him, or is it because it's Paul Rudd?
I'm going to say yes to both. Paul Rudd is an acting genius, and he is always hilarious in everything he does. But he does something in this movie that I personally have not seen him do before, which is like actual dramatic / serious acting. And he pulls it off, man, in my opinion. And there's a lot of really good jokes that they do with the size of everything and the scale. And I think the CGI really works in a lot of scenes.
Yeah, I wasn't as big of a fan of Ant-Man. I thought it was just okay. But I will say some of the tricks that they pull off with the shrinking and growing, that is always entertaining. I could watch those different combinations all day.
Oh, absolutely. Like in one of the scenes later in the movie where they're the cops are at his house trying to clean everything up after the big fight, and there's just like a random huge ant like walking, or it was like ant or spider, one of the two, walking around.
While he may
It's
not be
good
the most
stuff.
complex villain, I actually really like Yellow Jacket's design as a villain.
Oh, absolutely. Like, he's one of the few villains outside of Thanos that I felt like, oh, this guy could, like, really mess a lot of people up just based on the powers of his suit.
However, I will say he felt a little too much like Obadiah Stane from Iron Man 1 of evil, bald money mogul
Well,
who
yeah,
steals the
but
tech from the other guy.
I mean, when Ant-Man and when you come in on the second half of Ant-Man's story and kind of breeze through the first half, then yeah, it's going to feel that way.
Fair enough. My number
you know
four.
what I mean? Like, yeah,
Yeah, go for it.
yeah, you're good. I mean, you know what I mean? Because, like, they just kind of skip over it and turn it more into, oh, man, the Starks really screwed him over. Oh, that sucks. All right, moving on. Like, no. No. Ugh,
Well,
whatever.
the Starks kind of screw a lot of people over. Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, Ant-Man. Also, it wasn't the Starks that screwed over Ant-Man, it was the Pyms.
What? No,
Hank
because
Pym.
no, doesn't he? No, doesn't he? They go to the Starks or something. I thought I'm gonna have to rewatch it. Oh well.
Yeah, I've seen Ant-Man once, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm like 2 or 3 times over here.
Whereas my number 4 is the first Avengers movie. It's not Captain America, the first Avenger. Avengers. Just Avengers straight up. I think Avengers, the first Avengers, is one of the most rewatchable movies in movie history. You could put that on anytime and I will watch it.
Oh yeah.
And it on paper, it should not have worked, but it does. I don't think I nitpick movies all the time. It's what I do. I'm passionate about movies and I love to nitpick stuff. If you care about something, you worry about the details. I genuinely think I can't really nitpick that much of Avengers because it's so well written. Say what you will about Joss Whedon, but the dude knows how to write for characters. And the main reason why Avengers works so well, why it appeals to me as a comic book fan, moviegoers as an action film fan, my mom who's a very casual movie fan, it works because of the characters. You like them. They all have unique and standout personalities. They work as a unit. I mean, there's great action, great chemistry between the characters, great humor. It's just a really well-made movie. I love the first Avengers, and there's just so many great, oh, that's fantastic moments, you know?
Yeah.
I will never forget being in the theater for the first time, and that circle shot.
Oh, dude. Absolutely.
And if we don't get in Endgame a circle shot of all the Avengers once they come back to life, I'm.
Well, and that's the thing too. The circle shot is now a thing in every Avengers movie.
Yeah, to some degree, but
in one shape, or form. I mean, Age of Ultron, they had one of them battling everybody.
Yeah, but it's still that like group shot. Avengers is just great. That was the one to me more than any other movie that put the MCU on the map. More than Iron Man, more than Captain America. Avengers showed that it was here to stay. And then everyone pretended to know who Thanos was at the end credits.
Yep. Everyone's like, oh, yeah. And to be fair, I didn't know who Thanos was.
Oh, I didn't know who he was either. I did what everyone else did and Googled it when I got home.
My first thought was, what is Darkseid doing here?
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's absolutely hilarious and says a lot about the next movie that it's both of our number 3s.
Yeah, both of our number 3s and our number 1s are the same movie, which I think is funny. So yeah, for our number 3, Josh, why do you have Thor Ragnarok as your number 3?
I think this is the most fun of all of them. The most fun in a Marvel movie that I have had to date is in Thor Ragnarok.
I think for me, it's the one that more than any other Marvel movie, and this may sound hypocritical, I know, Heretical, I mean, not hypocritical. Heretical. I feel like Ragnarok is the one that embraces being a comic book movie the most. It's the one with the most vivid colors, most trippy visuals, maybe outside of Doctor Strange. Most just out there concepts, but embraces every minute of it. I love the color palette of Ragnarok. It's so bright and vivid, whereas everything else in the MCU is kind of muted. Not DC muted, but muted at times. But Ragnarok, that thing's super bright and colorful, and I love it.
Oh yeah, and everybody in that movie is giving a great performance. I mean, all the scenes between Thor and Hulk are fantastic, and generally speaking, are a lot of fun to watch. Jeff Goldblum is big Jeff Goldblum in this movie, but like he still comes off as a villain, and it's great.
I need a Korg spin-off movie as soon as possible.
Oh, Korg is fantastic.
Or a spin-off TV show on Disney Plus, either way.
Nah, man, I'm just happy with him like popping up every now and then, just like, oh hey guys, it's a little rock paper scissors joke for you.
Which I love the humor in Ragnarok more than any other. I think Ragnarok's the funniest MCU movie, and that's because director Taika Waititi is just a great comedic director. But there's a lot of great styles of humor. You got slapstick, you've got a lot of great puns, but there's a couple really subtle ones that you don't get on your first viewing. Like Korg has quite a few rock paper scissors jokes that go under the radar. Actually,
oh yeah, it's fantastic, man.
Like there's one that as soon as I caught it, I was like, how did I miss that? That he tried to start a revolution, but it didn't happen because he didn't print enough pamphlets. So paper beats rock.
Beats rock.
And really, like, even the stuff in, over in Asgard is fantastic.
The only nitpicks I have with Thor Ragnarok is how they just dispatch of the Warriors 3 like nobody cares.
Well, yeah.
They killed Zachary Levi so hard, he became Shazam.
Well, yeah.
But I love Ragnarok. Korg became my favorite character, and I love his personality of like this big hulking creature. And then he talks like this, and he's made of rocks, and he's just happy to be here, and he's going to wish New Dog good luck in the arena, and he's going to hope that you have a good day. And yeah.
It's great. I love him. He's one of my favorite characters.
Can we talk about how freaking awesome Valkyrie is for a second?
Oh, absolutely. One of the unsung heroes. And I need her around more, honestly.
Yes, please. She's great.
I think my biggest gripe with Ragnarok, and I'm never
Planet
quiet
Hulk?
about my opinions, is them kind of screwing off the Planet Hulk storyline. Now they could still potentially use it, but it's not the same anymore.
Yeah, I guess. But I was very much okay before Ragnarok, with Ragnarok being the last Thor movie. Let's end it with the trilogy. After Ragnarok, I was like, oh no, please, we need more Thor movies like this, please, now.
Yeah.
Or if nothing else, have more Taika Waititi in the MCU, please.
Yeah, it actually made Thor interesting. Whereas you go to the movie before this, Thor-wise, which had the potential to be really cool and really fun, but it was like they tried to go dark and it didn't work. And then they
tried to take it to the dark world.
And then Ragnarok is the polar opposite of really both Thor movies preceding it, and it works really well. And we're all reminded of Chris Hemsworth's comedic timing, and it's awesome. And now with him in MIB International, it's definitely reminding everybody of his comedic timing.
With Valkyrie.
Yeah, of all people. It's just hilarious.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that one. We may have already covered it earlier, but Josh, tell us what your number 2 is and why.
Number 2 is Avengers. Basically all the same reasons as you said. The circle shot, the music, the story, the rewatchability, to me, that was the first time, and really it's one of the only times so far outside of our number ones, where I was in a Marvel movie and I was thoroughly enjoying myself. The death of Coulson, like I felt it upon the first viewing, and then they ruined it with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But anyway, regardless, I was like, no, like, screw them, man. Like,
yeah,
no,
Thor's
Coulson's
reaction is
dead.
justified. Thor was everyone in the audience.
Exactly. Like, I felt it. And it was before Nick Fury felt just like a pandering idiot sometimes. You know what I mean? It was the first time we saw all of these guys on the screen together, and it was the first time a movie of this scale, comic book wise, was attempted, and it shows, and it hits on all points. And I'm with you when I say I have to try really, really hard to nitpick this movie.
Yeah, it's just so well balanced. Also, something I heard today that I was like, oh, please, I kind of want that now, even though it would take away from my Silver Surfer cameo, is how great would it be if at the end of Endgame, the end credits is all the surviving heroes go to the same shawarma place? I wouldn't even be mad that I don't get Silver Surfer. I'd be just content with that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, totally. I'd be down for that, I guess.
I'd be fine with that. It'd be great.
Honestly, it'd be really funny if they did that and then bait and switched with a Doom bot in the kitchen. But yeah, Avengers to this day, and I don't say much. The Avengers theme is, to me, one of the best superhero themes around.
It will never happen, but how great would it be is if they're eating shawarma and then they're surrounded by other people, like in the diner or whatever, and then every time stands still. Everyone freezes except the Avengers, and in the corner of the shot, you see a wheelchair wheel.
But then again, why would Xavier need to talk to all of these surviving Avengers?
To warn them about Magneto.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, he could.
The rumors right now, though, are we're getting an Avengers versus X-Men movie first, though.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, what we pitched, that they should be enemies first.
Absolutely. And I think, well, to be fair, Xavier could be warning them against Galactus, too, because they deal with Galactus as well.
And not as much. Galactus is definitely an everybody thing, not necessarily an X-Men villain.
Well, yeah, but that's my point, though, is if you're going to have somebody warn the Avengers, like, unless you're going to do it in some Tony Stark technological shenanigans, I would be okay with Xavier being one to warn them.
Yeah, that could be interesting. For my number 2, I'm actually surprised this isn't in your top 5. For my number 2, it's, to me, what I think is the best Spider-Man movie to date, Spider-Man Homecoming. This was the one. This was the Spider-Man movie I always wanted, but I never thought we would get. This is my Spider-Man. It was the dude that cared about the little people. He cared about doing the little things right. Of, hey, whose bike is this? Hey, you're trying to break into a car. That's one of my favorite things about Homecoming, was seeing him do the little day-to-day things, trying to be a hero, because he understands he needs to be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And we got the wings, even if it was just briefly. I never thought we'd get the wings. It felt like the Peter Parker I read about as a kid all the time and watched on TV. He felt normal and relatable. He wasn't a good-looking guy pretending to be a nerd, Andrew Garfield. He wasn't Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire was great, but Tom Holland, to me, he's everything that I want from both Peter Parker and Spider-Man. He's a normal, average kid. He's good-looking-ish, but he's very average in appearance. I don't think he's like Andrew Garfield of, wow, he's super attractive. Tom Holland's just average, and that's exactly what I want from Peter. But then when he's Spider-Man, he understands, and I will always get choked up with that Spider-Man Homecoming scene when Vulture drops the building on him. And in that moment, he's not Spider-Man. He's a 15-year-old kid screaming for his life that he's going to die. And he hears Iron Man, if you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have it. And he's got the, come on, Spider-Man. And he lifts the building, which is a comic panel that I've been waiting for years to see. But it not only did they recreate that panel, they made it mean something. It was, this is what Spider-Man is. It's when the chips are down, he digs down deep, he gets back up, and so can you. That's what Spider-Man is. That's why he means so much to people. It was Spider-Man.
Yeah, totally was.
I guess I have more of an emotional connection to Spider-Man. Spider-Man is Spider-Man.
No, yeah.
Spider-Man.
At the end of the day, for some reason, and you can hate me all I want, and this probably skews some people's view of my opinion, but for some reason, I just connected to the Amazing Spider-Man better. So,
really?
Anyway.
Why is that?
I don't know. I enjoy Andrew Garfield a lot. And part of that's based on the first Spider-Man series that I ever read was the Ultimate Spider-Man, and that's the series that Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is based off of. So like he's already based off of the Spider-Man that I grew up with. So it's hard. I don't know. I don't know, dude.
Tom Holland just seemed like he was very much that classic Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, mixed with a little bit of the 90s cartoon, but also had kind of the humor of the Drake Bell animated one, which we discuss at length all the time on the show. But it was the Spider-Man that I always wanted, of just a good, kind-hearted kid. Almost like had the same virtues as Captain America, of like knows when to do the right thing. To me, the moment that I knew I was going to like this Spider-Man was when he's at the party and he's about to swing in as Spider-Man, be all cool and be like, all right, where's my friend Peter? And try and get himself some street cred. But then he sees something, explosion off in the distance. And in that moment, he knows, okay, something's more important. It's not like a decision he has to think about. He knows immediately, okay, I need to make some sacrifices. Like, Tobey Maguire, I feel like at times he whined and complained about his responsibility too much, whereas Tom Holland's just like, okay, it's kind of sucks that I have to balance all this stuff, but I'm going to keep doing it anyway because I know it's the right thing to do. And that's essentially what Spider-Man is, of just the dude that knows what's right and what's wrong and will always help anybody, no matter how small. Like, that's why he's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Fair enough. And you know what? I watched it once and it was like, yeah, that's good. Now, after playing the Spider-Man game and being so attached to that, and then into the Spider-Verse and getting really attached to that, I should probably go back and watch Homecoming because I probably will enjoy it more. However, I am really stoked about the sequel that's coming out because that looks like a fantastic Spider-Man movie. So, I mean, I'm open to being wrong at this point.
Wouldn't be the first time.
I know, right?
But our number one, both of us have the same movie for our number one. Josh, why is our favorite Marvel movie Captain America, The Winter Soldier?
Because it's got the best story. It's like, it's not afraid to cross that line. It knows what it's supposed to be. It knows who its villains are, and it knows its hero and the morals that hero has, and what lengths he's willing to go and what lengths he's not willing to go.
Yeah, I liked but didn't love the first Captain America, so my expectations were pretty low for Winter Soldier because he was fine in the first Avenger, and then in the Avengers movie itself, he really wasn't my favorite Avenger. That was probably Thor. But then Winter Soldier came out with my low expectations, and Heather and I came out going, that was amazing. That was so good. Because like any good comic book movie, it doesn't feel like a comic book movie. It felt more like a Jason Bourne spy thriller. It's not really a fight your way out of the situation. It's a you are a black and white character living in a gray world now. So how does your old school mentality fit today? And how are you going to face this threat that honestly is bigger than you alone with Hydra?
Absolutely. And really, it's kind of funny that it started that trend of people going, Hail Hydra.
Yeah.
Which was really
my only
really
real
fun to
downside to Winter Soldier is underutilizing Frank Grillo as Crossbones. That man is a treasure.
Oh, dude. Well, and then they bring him back in Civil War, and he kind of just craps the bed. Like, ugh.
I still think Winter Soldier has one of my all-time favorite fight scenes in the MCU with the elevator fight.
Oh yeah,
It's
but
claustrophobic,
it's not really a
it's
fight.
tight, it's focused, it's great. And I know Winter Soldier has my favorite Captain America suit. I love the blue and the silver.
Oh, absolutely. And really, like, Winter Soldier was the movie that, for me, that made me go, oh, I need more Bucky.
Really?
Bucky
I
is
still have yet to have a
super
movie
cool.
for me that gets me on board with Bucky. I like
I mean-
Falcon, though. Primarily because I'm a sucker for Anthony Mackie.
That's true. I think my one gripe, if I was going to have one about Winter Soldier, is the attempt at a Nick Fury bait and switch.
Oh, yeah, with him not so dying.
Like, oh, he's dead. Screw you guys. No, he's not. Like, we're not stupid.
Yeah. People always debate of Civil War, Winter Soldier. I will always say Winter Soldier because Civil War has to balance this really big cast of other heroes. At its core, it's still a Captain America movie, but it has to balance between Iron Man, Bucky, and everybody else. This one is much more tight and focused story, I think, and it's easier to follow. And it made me a Captain America fan to the point of Captain America is my favorite Avenger now. Well, after Infinity War, Spider-Man is technically an Avenger, I guess, but of the OG original roster, Captain America by far, because he actually had growth. He became more defined in who he was as a character.
Yeah.
This is right, this is wrong. We do what's right, no matter the cost. We don't sacrifice lives. Everyone is savable at some point. And like his moral compass is what makes people like him as a character, besides the fact that it's Chris Evans, who's a very attractive person. I'm sure that helps too. But
Yeah.
you root for him. And I've said this before in my How Do You Make a Good Superman movie work video of Superman essentially needs the Captain America treatment of people think both of them were really cheesy, but one of them has had a really good modern interpretation with Winter Soldier of take that character, put them in a modern context with their old school ideologies, and how does it work? I still think if you're doing a good Superman movie, just make it in the style of Winter Soldier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Winter Soldier is just excellent. And I still, to this day, don't think any Marvel movie has quite topped it. The Russos are trying with Infinity War and Endgame and Civil War, but they first started with Winter Soldier, and I still think their premiere in the MCU is still by far their best movie. It's so well written. You care about the characters. It's a clear, concise story that really makes you root for the character, and it's so well done.
Absolutely. I mean, and it's funny too because I'm sitting here trying to think of ways you could do that with with Superman. Sorry, and there's only a few stories that I can think of that you could really do that, a modernization of a modern tale of Superman that does the same thing for Superman that the Winter Soldier did for Cap.
Yeah. It's
did you ever see, there was an animated movie. It was Superman. It was one of those Superman versus fill in the blank.
versus the Elite.
Yes. I'm glad you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because that movie, for me, if they remade that in a live action forum, especially in today's political climate, perfect. Like, yeah, that movie would do for Superman what Winter Soldier did for Cap.
Winter Soldier, to me, just reinforced, I like Cap because he does what's right, even when everyone else around him is saying it's the wrong thing to do. And
Yeah, exactly.
That's Captain America. Captain America may never be my favorite comic book character, but it's going to be a sad day when Chris Evans leaves us as Captain America because, whew, He does a fantastic job of his character, and to me, it really started with Winter Soldier, not Avengers, not the first Avenger, but Winter Soldier itself really made me care about Captain America as a character, made me care about Falcon, Black Widow, kind of Bucky, but we're still getting there, I guess. Well, what about you guys? What are your favorite Marvel movies of all time? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, if you like what you hear and you want to hear more, subscribe to us on whatever audio channel you're listening to us on, whether that be iTunes, Google Play, or YouTube. And if you want to check out other movie-related stuff, be sure to check out the Uncharted Media YouTube channel. And as always, stay sharp, movie guys and gals.